Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about the Pure Loop 280 mil AIO from Bequiet. Now what's really cool about this AIO is it rocks twin 140 mil fans. So they actually are the Bequiet Pure Wings 2, two of them. So they're a 140 mil fan. They're absolutely solid, they're very quiet and very efficient. What I want to know is, how does it stack up against its little brother? And its little brother, of course, is the Pure Loop 240. Now the Pure Loop 240, we've ran some numbers. It's actually a pretty decent AIO, but of course we can always be cooler. So let's check out the overall performance versus the 240 and other AIOs that I've tested in previous tests to find out how the 280 stacks up against it. There's a lot of things I like, of course, like the Bequiet on brushed aluminum with the white RGB going around it. Now it's not interchangeable as far as colors go, and it is an actual water plate. Now what makes that different from the others is that there is no pump in that water plate. It is literally just a water plate. Bequiet has done an interesting little thing where they add the pump inline on the lines. So it's about a 400 mil AIO line on these. You have a pump that can produce 5,500 RPM, which is actually pretty impressive. So keep in mind, the pump is doing the pumping, and then the wonderful world of the water block makes it a little bit more functioning like a open loop, if you want to say. Like if I was to do a custom loop, it reminds me a little more of that, because the difference that happens then is the plate on a pump based AIO makes this a thinner and not as cool product. What I mean by that is you're going to have more heat in here because there's moving parts in here, and usually your water plate is thinner than normal. In this case, they can put a proper water plate in here to reduce the temps and have your pump on the inline, making that a much more efficient product. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the plate. So the plate, like when I play around with, for example, EK water blocks or any other high-end brand, it is nickel plated, and that gives you a beautiful finish. Probably won't zoom in so well there at that point, but it is an absolute beast when it comes to removing heat. So it conducts heat beautifully and passes it through its copper core and just looks good, and it's a very good finish and just gives you that durability and longevity, and it adds that really elegant look to something that really didn't cost that much money. Now speaking of money, that's where this comes in beautifully. The Pure Loop 280 and 120s and the 360s and the 240s, they're all extremely well priced. In fact, I would call them more a budget AIO than most of its competitors, but it will compete with much of the more expensive ones, as we've seen in the numbers. Chose the Pure Loop 140s, and for a good reason. They're not a major, amazing static pressure fan, but they do an amazing job and are able to get the job done. Now, compatibility with this is Intel 1150, 1151, 1155, 1200, 2011, and of course AM3, AM4, and of course your AM2, AM1, all that kind of stuff going downward. And they are PWM fans, of course, so they're going to rev as needed. They do come with a dongle to daisy chain them together to go to one port, which is pretty much your water port or your fan port or whatever you wish to call it, your CPU plug-in. But anyway, guys, as we've seen by the numbers, we are not playing with fire, so to speak. When we were looking for benchmark score, it came in as a number 4 on my water loops, my AIOs, and that actually includes a custom loop as well in there. It actually did really well, so it did not beat the 240 weirdly, but it did get close. So it was about 2%, 2 points between the two, bringing it up, you know, alongside the Deepcool GameMax L360 and the Corsair 100i 240. Blender temps actually put the Pure Loop 280 in second place next to my custom loop. That was a 51 degrees, and then the 280 scored a 64, going down to its little brother down the chart at 68, scoring better with 4 points. Cinebench R20 puts our Pure Loop 280 on top. Wow. So the Pure Loop 280 is actually the overall winner, beating out my Aurorus Liquid Cool 360, which actually really impresses me. That's actually impressive. I mean, price per dollar, I'm really impressed. And then putting its actual little brother in third. So actually a very impressive, there's only, actually it's quite a few points taken there. So you're definitely getting a better bonus depending on what software you're using. And of course, if you're in gaming, I wouldn't say you'd see a lot, but definitely going to be a little cooler on the 280 for sure. Cinebench R20 temps, of course, this guy comes in third. It matches, actually it's a tie for second. 64 degrees, matching the Aurorus Liquid Cooler at 64, putting its little brother down in the 70s, so that's actually quite a decent lead right there. Pass mark performance. So of course, numbers higher are better, and we are falling short here. We end up just over the 240 mil, but beating it by a decent, I mean, well over 100 points. So definitely a step up for sure. And for pass mark temps, the Bequiet 280 is in third place, scoring a 60. And the Pure Loop 240 at 64, so a 4-point gain there. And you can just blame that on, you can say margin of error. I'm going to say bigger radiator, more airflow, just more footprint to move air. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think the Bequiet, for its price tags, is definitely a beast? Well, I do. I think that you are not going to beat the pricing and performance that you're getting out of a Bequiet product at these price points. Is just unmatched. I think price per dollar, guys, you're not going to go wrong. Whether you did take a 280 or a 240 or a 3, I'm going to do some numbers on the 360 soon as well. Yeah, we have a 360. We're going to try that out too, and we'll find out who's on top. I mean, let's just see what do we got here. I mean, I didn't get a chance to get a 120. That's the only one that I would like to have tested. I've never actually tested a 120 before, period. and I'd be curious to know what that would be like. Comment below if you run a 120 on the Pure Loop and let me know what your thermals are like and what you're running, because I'd be very interested to know what that is like. My bench system's been the same bench system since I tested water coolers. It's a Ryzen 2600X. No overclocking, no nothing. Everything is stock. I want to make sure that everybody gets the same out-of-box experience when they install this, which actually is very easy. It's just this bracket here, screws into the original back plates that are coming from AMD. Now, one thing I will say, I do have a video for this being installed and everything, and a little more in depth on it. I will link that below so you can actually take a look if there's something you wanted to see that isn't in this video, where this video was just basically talking about the radiator and going over its numbers and what I think about it. And I actually think that the 280 mil rad is definitely, if you have the room to use it, jump on it. It's not a big price gap. I think that overall 280 is better than 240. It's just because of physical girth, the size alone, that is going to move air better than a 120. Now, I am getting my hands on some high RPM, high static pressure, Bequiet fans soon. I'm going to put them on this rad, and we're going to put it up against, we're going to do a third test on this radiator. We're going to find out if the 240 can take the smack kicking to all my other AIOs by just changing the fans. Till that time, guys, we'll wait for those numbers. Hopefully we'll see that soon. Until next time, thank you for watching. Game over.